Welcome to the Celebrity Gourmet Podcast, where we feature top bakery and specialty food entrepreneurs from around the world and share stories and tips on how to create a successful life in the baking world.
Hi, I'm Odette D'Aniello, the special guest host of the Celebrity Gourmet Podcast, where we interview awesome folks in the bakery industry and specialty food industry to hear how they live creative lives and share their adventures in running their bakery and CPG businesses. So I want to encourage you to go back and check out our past episodes with Megan Wallstad of Lady Yum in Seattle and Bronwyn Weber from Bronwyn Cakes in Dallas and Becky Palermo of Creative Cakes in Chicago. Here today, I have my very favorite special guest, Odette D'Aniello, actual host of the Celebrity Gourmet Podcast. And we're here to talk about a little bit about what's been going on for us in Celebrity Cake Studio, Celebrity Gourmet Ventures, and what Celebrity Gourmet Podcast is going to look like in the next few months.
Great. Don't forget Dragonfly Cakes.
And Dragonfly, yes. Okay, but today's episode is brought to you by Celebrity Gourmet Ventures, Inc., Celebrity Cake Studio, and Dragonfly Cakes, a family-owned and operated specialty bakery in Tacoma, Washington. At Celebrity Gourmet, we have been baking joy into all of our artistically designed cakes and desserts for 25 years. We are proud to work with a vibrant team of cake designers and bakers who help you celebrate the sweet moments in your lives. We've received numerous awards, winning Best of Western Washington for many years in a row, and various small business accolades. To learn more about how you can celebrate yourselves or the ones you love, visit us at www.celebritycakestudio.com and www.dragonflycakes.com, or email us at info@celebritycakestudio.com. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So let's start with, what have we been doing this year in 2024?
Oh my gosh. What have we been doing? It seems like a year has gone by. So let's start with January.
Okay.
So, and you and I have had such an adventure because we started out with a fancy food show, didn't we? In Las Vegas.
We started out with the fancy food show in Las Vegas. No, we started out with a wedding show.
Right. Right. We are opening up a venue in Tucson, Arizona. So Milana and
I'm here.
Yes, there you are. And she's sitting there, and that was construction zone for most of December and half of January. And at the very last moment, it became pretty because we worked a lot on it.
So much.
Daddy changed the floors. We painted. We basically decorated. Our friend Janice made all the paintings. And we participated in the Tucson wedding show, which was great fun. And at the show, we gave away a lot of dragonfly cakes. I don't know, 15 boxes of them.
Yeah, so many dragonfly cakes. People really liked dragonfly in Tucson. So definitely something to think about for us. But we had so much fun at the wedding show. And then immediately we packed up, we put everything in the car, we dropped it off at Himalaya, and then we got on a plane.
Right. We went on a plane to Las Vegas for the fancy food show. And we had a whole lot of meetings at the fancy food show. For our listeners, our products can be found in beautiful grocery stores all around the country. One of them is Whole Foods. And we are also in Metropolitan Market, PCC Market in Seattle. So we sell our products via our distributors through our amazing broker partners. And we had a lot of meetings with all of our partners in how to, discussing how to bring dragonfly cakes to more locations so that you can buy them and enjoy them for your specialty events. But we did fly to Las Vegas, and we walked around and met a whole lot of different people. And do you have anything that anyone that was like that stood out? That was quite amazing.
Yeah. The Asin Tibuok lady.
Asin Tibuok lady. Right, the salt lady. Oh my gosh, I think I have one right here. This is called oh, this is the dinosaur salt.
Yeah.
Dinosaur egg salt from the
It's
Philippines.
pre-colonial traditional Filipino salt. So you take salt water, like ocean water, and you put it in a coconut husk and you roast it and you put clay over it. So it's this long, long process of like smoked salt. And it's what Filipinos used to do to make salt like before colonization and before the Spanish came. So it's this like really cool heritage, like salt product that I saw on social media, and it went viral on social media. All these chefs started using it. And then we met the lady who sells it in the US. So we were so excited to meet her. And I personally loved talking to her because she's like me. She's a second generation Filipino immigrant, and her grasp on the language isn't as strong, which mine isn't super strong, but she's recently reconnected with her culture, reconnected with her family. And it's about her journey, like reconnecting and building a relationship with like her Filipino side and her heritage, and which I loved. I loved talking to her. I loved talking to her team because it's just this like very familiar story of like reconnection and like being proud. And I thought it was amazing because she's more middle-aged. And so I was like, at any age, you can reconnect. And so I feel like very comforted that like as I'm reconnecting, everyone else is also on their like paths and on their journey. So anytime is the correct time to like regain that knowledge and feel so confident in like your heritage.
Absolutely. I totally relate. And having raised you, Milana, in the US, right? Not necessarily being connected to my culture. I'm a third culture kid, and listeners, a third culture kid is a kid who grows up in a culture that is not the same as their parents. So that was me and my siblings. My parents grew up in the Philippines, and then we moved here when I was young to work in a bakery, actually. So we grew up in a culture that was not ours. So when I raised my kids, it was and it's like nebulous kind of culture, although Mama Mila and Papa Joe did watch you. So you heard the language, our Cebuano language growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and, ate lugao and all kinds of Filipino food because your grandparents raised you.
Mm-hmm.
But, identity is super important. And, I'm so glad that you met Lenny, right? What's her name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's and then what else did we do after the fancy food show? And we met, our new broker, Food Luma. The
Mm-hmm.
team from Food Luma was just amazing and incredible. And we also met the team from one of our distributors. A few of our distributors actually were there. Peterson's was there, and we met Tony's Fine Foods. They were there.
Yeah.
Boston Gourmet was there. So
Yeah.
we had really a fun time meeting with our brokers, distributors, meeting with other vendors. So if you're in the, specialty food space, if you're around in January, it's in Las Vegas, the Fancy Food Show, and then in June, it's going to be in New York City, which will be there too. I'm
Mm-hmm.
super excited. Okay,
Yeah.
so after the Fancy Food Show, what did we do?
After the fancy food show, we had our open house for Himaya.
Right. So we had our open house, which was very, very exciting, mainly because we had hired somebody who was going to be our chef, and that didn't work out, and it was really super fast, which we were grateful for, because you don't want to get into things, and when the going gets going and it to fall apart. This actually just kind of righted the ship, righted itself at the beginning. So then we had our menu kind of revised. So we decided that I was going to cook. So I became the Himaya cook, and I brought out all my Filipino food, and my friends from all over the country. I mean, they came, and these are friends of mine who I'd grown up with on Guam, and we all cooked together in the kitchen, and just had a really fun time. And we had our guests come, and we had the best time.
So much fun.
The best time.
It was great too, because we had your friends there as like support, but it was also really good that we had a set date to like work up against, because we just kept talking and talking about the menu, and we kept changing it and changing it. We're like, do we want to do more like this, more like this? But when the day came, we needed food. At the end of the day, we needed food. So it worked out really well.
Yeah, we had cassava cake, which we creme bruleed. It was amazing. We had something that we eat in Guam. Is called latidza. It's cake with custard on top and cinnamon. That was delicious. I made chicken adobo bao, which was a hit, and some puff pastry that I put tinaktak in, which is like a normally ground beef, but I used ground turkey, and then we wrapped it. So we kind of added a twist to things. It was really so fun. And you know what? I realized after that my love language, and you knew that, this as my daughter, that my love language is cooking. And I can cook all day, every day, all times, all kinds of stuff. I can make anything out of the fridge. I don't use recipes. So I was just in my happy place.
Yeah. It was really a fun time, and the cooking part came with so much ease, which was amazing. Because we thought it was going to be so much harder than it was, and it did not turn out to be as hard as everyone said it was going to be, at least for us. But maybe it's because we like being in the kitchen. I made mamon. Right. It was so much fun.
And it's like a cake from the Philippines, which is so hard to do. I'm like, oh my God, there were like a trillion eggs in there. Well, mamon was the reason why my parents were able to get out of poverty. Because remember, Mama Mila made mamon and sold it at the markets, and she ended up from that experience. Yeah, she made mamon. That was her specialty, and she sold it. She was earning $1 teaching with Papa Joe in the province, and couldn't afford their third child, which is my little brother. And so my mom and dad started making mamon and sold it to like in the markets. And then people just started, it just became viral in that provincial way. And people in the city started asking for it. And her cousin, who was running her uncle's bakery that she had worked in all her life, found out about it and called her and said, hey, I'll pay you to mix mamon and sell it at my bakery. Because, in the Philippines before, recipes were gold. So she came and she would mix. And then finally her cousin's like, can you work here? And then her cousin immigrated to Guam. So he's like, well, can you help run this place? So that's how I ended up living in a bakery in the city. Because of mamon.
I love that. I didn't know that story. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And she was her other thing was, she sold achara, which is a pickled papaya.
Which we also made.
I made. You're right. I made pickled papaya. I like the achara, which is a Philippine version of pickles, but it's cooked. It's raw papaya that you basically cook. And my mom sold that. And then what else?
Okay. So next, we packed up and went to San Diego.
Oh my God. After open house.
After our open house, literally
rented a car. Okay, we rented a car, packed up, loaded the car.
This is the next day. This is the very next day. We had our open house.
After open
We were
house.
working all the way up until the open house to like get it ready, make it cute in here, like cook. And then we cleaned on the day of the open house.
Right.
And then the next morning we packed up and drove 6 hours to San Diego.
Right.
It was intense. We had a really intense year so far. Like we were just going and going and going.
I'm tired thinking about it.
I'm tired thinking about it too. We did it though.
Well, we went to San Diego because there was a Tony's Fine Foods UNFI show, which we've never done before. And we went there with literally all kinds of stuff that we didn't need because our table was so tiny. It was like 6-foot table, but we sure did glam it up. We had glitter fabric, we had tutus on, we had all kinds of disco lights, and we met new customers, old customers. We met the team from Tony's Fine Foods who are so fun and nice, and our broker was there. It was really so fun. And then Auntie came, my sister Marianne, your auntie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I made everybody wear hot pink long tutus because I was like, if we're going to the show, there's going to be so many booths there. We may as well have a gimmick, and it may as well be a fun gimmick. So
yeah, we were like everybody else, and we were the only kind of owners there. Everybody else was.
Yeah, I think there was maybe one other owner, or it was a consulting agency who was doing the show for them, which is amazing. But it was really fun to like be in the business, be the owners, know exactly the story. You know, it was like fun to be in control of our narrative because it's our narrative. You know, it's like it's our story, it's our product. We make it. We know exactly how it's made. We've made it. We continue to make it. And being the ones to talk about it and sell it was really like amazing.
Absolutely. And I think that's really important for people who are in the industry, that we basically abdicate all the marketing to a team. And sometimes they don't relay the story as well as one would if you owned it. So it's really important to kind of meet the customers, shake their hand and say, look, these are all hand done by us. And we're people, and we're fun people, we're nice people. But we also have the efficiencies to, fulfill on all the orders. We have, third-party audits. We're professionals, but we're fun.
Just because we're professionals doesn't make us boring.
We're not boring. Not boring at all. And then, so after that, what did we do?
After that, we had a little break because the Tony show was like next level, a lot going on.
Oh, because we had to drive back. Not only did we spend 2 days on our feet.
The whole time.
Whole days. We actually drove back to Tucson for 7 hours. But we did stop at a sand dune.
We did stop at the sand dunes. That was my favorite part of the drive, was the sand dunes. They were so beautiful in the middle of the drive from San Diego to Tucson, in the middle of the desert.
We were tired, but we stopped at the sand dune, ran up the sand dune, took photos, and then we saw that group of people who had costumes and Star Wars costumes.
They were doing a photo shoot. They were doing a photo shoot,
or maybe a film. We might be in the next Star Wars episode. We don't know. God, we're so adventurous. And if we didn't have all that cake behind us, we would have rented a dune buggy and gone up and down those dunes.
We definitely would have. If we didn't have cake in the car, we would have been on those dune buggies.
We were, but we did stop. So that was good.
That was good. We got a little break. We also stopped at Dateland.
Right. So if anybody ever drives from Tucson to San Diego, there's a place called Dateland. They named a town Dateland, but they literally have like a patch of date trees.
They have like an acre of dates, maybe less than an acre of dates. But the whole town is called Dateland for this date farm.
But you can plug in your electric car. We didn't have an electric car, but you can plug in your electric. You can get date ice cream, and you can get really, really good coffee.
7-Eleven coffee, but it was really good.
Cappuccino coffee.
Okay, so we did a ton this winter.
And then after that, I took a sabbatical, took a week off, and I went on a meditation retreat.
Oh yeah, you
With your
did.
father.
And then after that, we went to Japan.
Yes, for an entrepreneur organization retreat, which was amazing. So that is the reason why our podcast didn't kind of coughed a little bit, because we've been busy.
We've been really busy. Having all of this going on and you still scheduling podcasting interviews was so like, it was very impressive, but it was also like, we just need a little bit of a break. We just need a break, Mom.
Oh yeah. So I know. So then, speaking of breaks, that's why we took a break a little bit. But we also want to pivot, right? A little bit.
Yeah, we want to pivot. So like we've been talking to so many people, not just in specifically the bakery industry, because we know that's our bread and butter. We talk to them all the time, but we've been talking to a lot more people in just general CPG and specialty foods. And we've been having really amazing conversations with people that are entirely outside of what we know really well of bakery. But these are amazing conversations and amazing people that we wanted to bring on to the podcast and like talk to more and learn more from.
Right. And then, so yeah, exactly. Because we need to learn more. And I think that our listeners would do well learning from people in the industry, distributors, brokers, um, ingredient purveyors, because you and your aunt went to the IFT.
Yeah, we did. It was really cool. It was all the ingredient show.
Yes.
It was all clean ingredients. So we saw so many like natural colors and natural flavors and flavors of all kinds. It was really a cool small show with just like these high caliber ingredients that you could use of all kinds. Like you want vanilla? There was 4 vanilla vendors. Where do you want your vanilla from? From Madagascar? From Tahiti? Like, do you want it clean label? Do you want it in an oil form? Do you want it water-based? It was just like all like going down to the very most niche of each ingredient that you don't really think of when you're making a product. But like when you're making a lot of cake, I didn't like think about it, but like vanilla costs a lot and you need to like really source your vanilla. So super cool. I learned a lot at that show too.
Good. Yeah. I mean, there's just so much to learn. And then there's also like these issues that I also want to learn about. And I think our listeners would want to learn about, just like, what's the status of the supply chain, right? Milana, you have a degree in supply chain management. Tell us about that.
I know, but it's changing so fast and so rapidly. Like the supply chain looks entirely different from when I was learning about it and during COVID, and it looks entirely different from when my professors knew about it from like pre-COVID. It's just so much change so rapidly.
Right. So those are the kinds of interviews that we'll be having in this podcast. And sometimes it'll be me, sometimes it'll be Milana, sometimes both of us. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. As I am the host today, thank you so much for being with me here today.
No, thank you.
I have one more question.
Yes.
Because we did so much. We did so much for like work. You know, we did so much action, we did so much moving forward, but something that is not really captured in the like actual things, like the tangibles, was we got really inspired. Like we saw so much art, we saw some beautiful gardens, we saw a lot of stuff that really inspired like our artistic side and our creative side, and like what our vision is for Himaya, what our vision is for Dragonfly, what our vision is for Celebrity Cakes, what our vision is for Celebrity Gourmet as a whole. So that could be an entire podcast season on its own talking about our inspiration. But what is one thing that really like stuck with you in terms of like inspiration this winter?
Well, we were in Japan, and a lot of our tours were art tours. And there were we went to this island called Teshima Island, and it was an island that was a dump. They had dumped a whole bunch of garbage into this island.
Naoshima.
It's Teshima. So
Naoshima?
Teshima and Naoshima. So there's these islands in Kagawa Prefecture. And what they've done is somebody had a vision to create beauty out of it. And they started with rice paddies. They put the plants back in because they had pulled all the plants out. So they put plants back in, they put trees back in, they made it green. And then they invited all kinds of incredible artists to come and do installations. So I was so inspired by the conversion of, what was once like a dump into the most beautiful sights I've ever seen in my entire life. Like literally experienced such incredible beauty. And it gave me a lot of inspiration of like, when you see something that doesn't look good or doesn't look nice, I mean, the potential of it could be gorgeous and beautiful. It's like we all have the capacity to create beauty within us. We just need a vision.
Amazing.
That's what I was inspired with. How about you? What were you
Amazing.
inspired? What was
I was really inspired by just the level of like, I mean, I was inspired by a lot of things. A lot of stuff has happened. So many things have been really cool and amazing. But I was really inspired by like a lot of the artists that we saw when we were in Japan. They dug deeply into what they did well. They like we saw a lot of contemporary art. And like before this trip, I was never really much of a contemporary art person. I really like impressionists. I like older stuff, not to be snobby or anything, but that was just like what I understood and knew. And then like more modern stuff, I was like, I don't get it, like not for me. But we saw so much amazing contemporary art that was so unique and so clearly made by this one specific artist and so like thought out and well designed, and everything was in place for a reason, and just like really dug into the concept and the skill set and the passion of this like particular artist. Like no one can recreate these amazing like works of sculpture and like collaborations of like nature and concrete and water, and just like these art pieces are so unique, and I have no desire to recreate them, but I felt as though I had something that I could make that was
right?
as like unique and uniquely me, and that I could be uniquely passionate about, but look nothing like what we saw. It was just really inspiring to see this like digging in of like artistic expression.
Yeah, I hear you. It was really amazing. And we make art.
We make art. That's our job.
That is our job. And it really is just it kind of brought that home. It's like, hey, we're artists. We're not just, we don't just bake cakes. Don't just schlep, cakes here and there. We're artists.
We're
And
artists.
and we express our art through food. That's what we do. So
All right. Thank you, Mom, for being a special guest here on the Celebrity Gourmet Ventures podcast. Is there anything else you would like to say before?
No, we're good.
All right. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Celebrity Gourmet Podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.